Hello there and welcome to YogaPhysioZone, and I am Sinead, and this is the first of my series for barely beginners. Now what I mean by the barely beginners is you people who feel that you couldn't even attempt to go to a beginner's yoga class because you just don't feel you'll be able to keep up. So I guess when you've got to that stage, you've probably lost a fair bit of confidence in your body, and you may be having some fairly negative feelings about it in terms of I should be able to do that, or I can't do that, or just having judgments all the time about what you should and shouldn't have to do. So just be aware of that before we start the class. Just be aware of what kind of judgments are going on in your mind. And particularly if those are negative ones, just be aware that they're there and try not to feed into them too much. We all have, bodies that have a certain genetic makeup. So some of the things that we might perceive as weaknesses in our bodies are in fact due to something that we inherited. So that's nothing you could do anything about. And sometimes we've had accidents, and we're still carrying some of the scars of those accidents. Sometimes we have a lot of stress or strain in our lives, and that affects our bodies in a very real physiological way. So we all have different bodies, and I don't want to get too lectury, but I'm just saying maybe stop blaming so much and work hopefully with what you've got and just trying to be understanding of it, and maybe just giving it a little bit of kindness, okay, instead of maybe feeling that you should be doing better than what you are. Also be aware that on different days your body will be able to perform differently. So on some days you might be able to do certain poses quite easily, and then on other days you could be tired, or for any number of reasons, maybe there has been some emotional stuff going on or whatever, and your body is just different on that day. And guess what? It's the same for everybody's body. And the advantage of doing online and Zoom classes is you can do them without worrying that anybody's going to see you, and you can put in a little bit of preparation work and get yourself ready for that first real in-person class. So here we go. So I'm going to ask you just to try and be mindful of the fact that you shouldn't feel any pain. Okay, so it's okay to push yourself a little bit and to get a stretchy feeling or to feel that something is hard to do, but it's not okay to feel pain. And sometimes, particularly if you have that feeling of I should be doing better, and you're very competitive with yourself, you may not be listening to the limits that your body is putting on you. So just be aware of that, okay? So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you feel any discomfort, any dizziness, any nausea, just pull back, all right? We're going to try and enjoy this class. So this is the first in the series. Lecture is over, and just come to lie on your mat. Now, if you need a pillow, bring whatever pillows or bolsters that you need. You may need a pillow for under your neck. This is your time to, you can decide whatever you want to bring into the class with you. So let's go. Short little class. And we're going to get you just to lie down in whatever way you can come to lying, gently laying yourself back onto the ground. Back onto the ground. I felt a crack there. And then if you can stretch out your legs. If that's not comfortable, you can keep them bent up, all right? And let's just do a couple of stretches first of all. So just stretching, all right? Nice gentle stretches. If you need a pillow under your head, that's fine too. So on the next in-breath, bringing the arms overhead. And if you can stretch out your legs comfortably, you do so. If you can't, you don't, okay? You will get to that day, but not yet. So just lying in that position and taking a couple of deep breaths. So in this position, you may not be able to get your hands back onto the ground like I am. You might find that you're they're bent, or the elbows have to rise up a little bit. That's fine. Just settle yourself in whatever position you're in and take a couple of deep breaths. Breathing in Breathing out. Breathing into the base of your lungs. Breathing out. Once again, breathing into the base of your lungs and breathing out, stretching out the rib cage. Now, if your legs aren't bent, please do so now. So you're bending up your knees and putting your feet lying on the ground. Now your hands, if you can bring your hands back under your head, please do so. And your elbows, you might find they could be up towards the ceiling. If they will drop back down towards the ground, bring them into whatever position is comfortable. And if you need to stick a pillow underneath one or both of your elbows, you can do so now. So just breathing in this position. So this is a bit of a stretch for the muscles at the front of the shoulders. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and out. Lovely. Now, if you can, zip your two legs together, or as near as is possible for you. So bringing the two legs together, keep your shoulders in this position. So your neck and your head and the back of your head need to be comfortable. So finding whatever version of this pose is good for you, with pillows or props or whatever. And just resting in this position, and then slowly roll your knees over towards the right hand side. So just rolling just as far as you can go. You might only be able to go a tiny bit, that's fine. Just go to the point where you feel, yep, I feel a stretch, but I'm not hurting myself. And try a couple of breaths in that position. So deep breath in and out. And again, deep breath in and out. And this time breathing into the lungs, the part of the lungs just under our armpits. Breathing in to that stretched out side and breathing out. Come back with your knees to center and then rolling to the other side, trying to keep your two legs together in as much as you can. So really what this is doing is it is stretching out kind of that area between your elbow and your knee on the stretched out side. So stretching, keep the shoulders away from your ears, try and find that point where you're stretching but you're still comfortable and you can still breathe. So breathing in to the bases of the lungs, breathing out. And again, breathing in and out. And the last one, breathing in and out. Now, if you can, bring one leg up towards your knee or your chest, should I say. The other leg can either straighten out if that's comfortable, or it can stay slightly bent, that's fine. We're just giving a bit of a stretch to the hip, in fact. So it looks like I'm working on the knee, but in fact I'm working on the hip. And for me, this is my right hip. And you can, if you're mirroring me, that could be your left. But we won't get into left and right, we'll just stay in the spirit of it. So rolling around, try the opposite direction. Okay, just nice stretches, comfortable, still keeping your head nice and relaxed, your shoulders nice and relaxed. And if you can, for the last one, tuck your chin in and then just bring your head up off the ground. You don't have to bring it right up like that, just whatever way you can. If you can't do that comfortably, please don't do it. Just tuck your chin in and don't lift the head. Otherwise you can do 3 lifts up and back down. Lovely. Let's do the same with the other side. So bringing the other knee up, either with that leg stretched out, the long leg, or you can have it slightly bent. And once again, rolling around in little circles, exploring what is going on in that hip. And it will probably feel different to the other side. A few rolls, and then the other direction. Other direction. Lovely. And let's do those chin tucks again on this side. Your shoulders are relaxed on the ground. You're just tucking your chin in. And if you can lift your head up. Alright, so just barely up. Just really engaging the muscles at the front of our neck, if that is comfortable. If it's not, don't worry about it. Just tuck the chin in and don't lift the head. And the day will come when you will be able to do that, okay? And finally, for our lying down poses, maybe we'll do 2 more. Okay, so let's do a bit of a stretch for the hamstrings. So keeping one knee bent, in fact keeping 2 knees bent, and then with one leg just lifting it up, grabbing behind the thigh, keep the shoulders and the neck comfortable, and then just do a little bit of a stretch to that leg. So you're kind of kicking your heel up towards the ceiling. Don't let your chin come up like this. Don't let the chin rise up. Keep the chin tucked in. Don't worry about being able to straighten the leg. Doesn't matter. Just do whatever version of straight is straight for you. So if it's still bent, don't worry about it. We're just giving a bit of a stretch to the hamstring. And you can wiggle a little bit, internally rotating, externally rotating that hip. Okay? Cool. Let's do the same with the other. Bring that down. Bring the other leg up. And again, you might notice a slight difference. Now remember, keep the back of your head on the ground, keep the back of your shoulders, and then just play around with whatever version of straightening you can actually do. Okay? And then maybe wiggling your hip, internal, externally rotating, just getting to know what are my limits. What are my limits? Okay. Lovely. Coming back down. And let's just do one core pose in this position. So what I want you to do is just keep your head on the ground, bend your elbows so your kind of fists are facing the ceiling, and then push your elbows into the ground as if you were trying to lift your heart area up off the ground. So you're just slightly doing a slight lift. Your bum is staying on the ground, the back of your head is staying on the ground, and you're just digging in the elbows and lifting that heart up towards the ceiling ever so slightly, and just doing a few of those, really engaging the shoulder blade muscles. Very nice, you guys. Just 2 or 3 of those in whatever manner. Don't worry if you're not leaving the ground. Someday you will. Okay. And in fact, I'm going to lie and do one more, lying in the back. Sorry about this. Okay. So bend up your knees again. Feet flat on the ground. Knees are facing the ceiling. And we're going to do a version of the bridge. So this, you can just watch for a sec. This is the bridge pose here. But we want to prepare right, okay? If you have a sore neck, be careful, don't lift too high. Before you ever lift yourself off the ground, kind of pull up on your pelvic floor. So those muscles that are there between your thighs, round near your genitals and your kind of your bum area. So just, you can imagine that you're kind of pulling them up, like rather than just squeezing them really tight, as if you're just trying to pull them up towards your belly button. So you're trying to pull your pelvic floor up towards your belly button, and then you're trying to pull your belly button up towards your rib cage. So it's like a gentle squeeze, engaging your core, and only then press with your heels into the ground, and then see about lifting your bum up just as comfortably as you can, right? So don't go up high if it's not comfortable. Just literally go as far as you can. Keep that core engaged by pulling up on the pelvic floor. Those are very important muscular locks, and then come back down. So that's a really safe one to do if you do it with no pain. So once again, pulling up on the pelvic floor, pulling your pelvic floor up towards your belly button, pulling your belly button up towards your rib cage. So kind of in and up, as if you're squeezing it into the center of you and pulling it up towards your neck nearly. Imaginary, we're using our imagination. And then, only then, see about lifting the bum up, pushing your knees down towards your feet, and maybe even lifting up onto your shoulders. But don't worry about that too much right now. That is really good, and coming back down. Now, we're nearly finished, but we're just going to do one pose over on our front. That'll be enough for today's class. So rolling over in whatever way you can, rolling over and just coming to lie, and you're just lying flat on your tummy. Yep, lying flat, resting your head. And I'm going to lie, we're going to do 2 poses, I promise, no more than that. So lying down, and then what I want you to do is just first of all, just shimmy your hips from side to side, just really rolling, just exploring, rolling, exploring, okay? Like I'm doing here. Now we're going to do a leg lift. Now it's okay if you can't lift your leg, right? I don't mind if you can't do it, and neither should you, okay? What we're going to do, we're going to start with our left leg, and we're just going to like slide the leg away from us first of all, kind of, and then ever so slightly see about lifting the leg up. Now if it barely leaves the ground, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't have to be up here, right? Barely leaves the ground, because even by that token alone, you are activating your hamstring, your bum muscles, and your lower lumbar muscles. So you're doing a lot already. We'll worry about height later. So pushing it away from you, sliding the foot away from you, and then seeing about lifting up. Just ever so slightly. And do 3 of those, okay? 3 of those. Okay. And let's do 3 on the other side. And there again will probably be a side difference, okay? Most of us aren't symmetrical. So slide that right leg away from you. And then ever so slightly lifting up and back down. You might be tempted to bend your knee and lift up, but I think if you can, keep the leg more or less straight and lifting up and back down. And again, it doesn't matter if it leaves the ground, as long as you're getting muscle activation, that's actually okay. All right, very good. And for our final pose, finally keeping my word, okay, for our final pose, we are going to come up into a version of the Sphinx pose. This is the Sphinx pose where I've got my elbow and it's right underneath my shoulder, and I am just holding that position, but you may not be able to get that far, so you might find you have to kind of go like this so that the elbows aren't underneath your shoulder. That's fine, okay? I don't want you hurting your lower back, and so you may not have that range in your lower back, and it may take time to get back. So just holding this position. So whatever version of this that you can do comfortably, all right? And then push into the ground with your pelvis. So push your upper thighs and your pelvis into the ground, activating your core. And you might find, hey presto, I can go a small bit higher. Okay, if you can, that's great. Now, this is the part that's really important for activation. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears. So you are moving your shoulder blades. So you're not here, you're actually moving your shoulder blades down towards your hips and your waist, and just see if you can hold that and see if you can breathe, okay? Breathing is really important, so see if you can breathe as you do that. Breathing, and maybe you think, oh man, I have to come back down. Come back down and we'll just do another one. So take a moment, shimmy your hips, nearly finished. And once again, coming up into that Sphinx pose. Lovely, pushing your pelvis into the ground, moving your shoulders away from your ears, moving the shoulder blades down your back. Lovely. Holding that Sphinx. Looking out over the Egyptian desert. Lovely. And breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Enjoy the breathing. Well done, you guys. Now you can come back down. And once again, you can roll over on your back and just take a moment. Or you can lie on your side if you want to, and just take a moment, just let everything just assimilate. Give yourself a few nice breaths to finish up with. Congratulate yourself. You have done the first of your very beginners yoga classes. Stay lying if you wish, and just remember, send your body a little note of thanks for doing that class for you, and we will talk again in the second of my series. Talk soon. Bye.